Welcome to Rocksolid Productions, where in this video we are going to check out the RetroTink line doubler to improve the video quality of component, composite, and S-video and convert it to HDMI. Hello and welcome to Rocksolid Productions. My name is Gary, your host here on the channel, and before we get started, I do want to just take a moment and thank you for stopping by and checking out our little video that we have here. If you like what you see here, please check out some of the other videos that we have up on the website too. And if you really like what we do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. That way each and every time we do come out with new video content, you're kept the most up to date. Now what I have in my hands here, this is a minor miracle, I'll say. This is called the RetroTink. And basically what it is a line doubler to improve the video quality of older video game systems and convert that signal from either a composite, S-video, or component video input to give you an HDMI output. The reason why you would want to do that is simple. It would look a heck of a lot easier, and it's easier to connect to your modern flat panel display. So I have DK64 going through my RGB modded N64 through my OSSC, and this is looking pretty good for an N64. The OSSC was about $225 to $230, plus the remote, the shipping and handling, the power supply. It gets expensive after a while. And with some video game systems, specifically the Super NES and the Super NES Junior that have been RGB modded, it just doesn't play well with those systems. Now, the OSSC also will not do anything for you in terms of composite. You need to have at least a component, SCART, or VGA input to go into the OSSC, where this will take the video outputs from like an NES, a Super NES, an N64, a GameCube, a Master System, a Sega Genesis, and it will upscale it. Well, it'll line double for you up to 2 times the resolution. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you a real quick close-up of this on the desk here, and we're going to play a couple different systems. And one of them that I'm definitely going to check out, I do have my Sharp Famicom Twin. I've got some new games I just brought back from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I really want to see what this can do, not just with the component and S-video, but composite as well. Let's take a closer look. So checking out the RetroTink here, you can see it kind of has a plexiglass case on it where you can kind of see, everything that goes into it. There are, your inputs that you have here. You have component video, S-video, composite video, and on this side you have your audio inputs. On the back side, or at least what I'll call the back side, you have a mini HDMI port and you have a micro USB port. So that's one thing to be very aware of, is the fact that the HDMI output is actually a mini HDMI. Now for that, Ryan at CastleManiaGames.com, which is where I bought my RetroTink and got my cable from, he actually offers a mini HDMI to regular HDMI cable for use specifically for this application. It's not that expensive. If you are ordering this from him, I'd highly recommend that you pick it up. And then it does have, like I say, a micro USB port there. Now on the side there are 2 buttons on here. One is, this one here will select your input, either composite, S-video, or component. And then the other one, you can actually add a couple filters onto it for some smoothing characteristics as well. Above and beyond that, this is pretty simple and straightforward and ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to do is we are going to hook up our composite video from the Sharp Famicom Twin to this. We're going to provide power, hook it up to our capture device, and just see how it looks. So one of the reasons I really wanted a RetroTink was so that I could play my Sharp Famicom Twin on my big screen TV and maybe even do some streaming and capture with it. So I do have my copy of Doki Doki Panic that I got here from John Riggs. Thanks, Riggs. And then just so you can see here is I do have the composite video going in, audio going here left, right. Now it is mono mixed to both channels. Basically I'm just using a Y harness out of my Sharp Famicom Twin. I do have both filter buttons, or both filters applied basically, so I'm doing the 2 times along with the correct composite input on here. So we're going to grab our controller, and if you've never seen the Famicom disk system, this is pretty cool. I have to admit, it's not HDMI NES quality. it's not designed to be. It's also not as expensive either. So side A is gonna go in. This definitely does look better than just going straight composite video into my TV. And the cool thing about this too is neither of my capture cards, either my EasyCap 284 or my Elgato, neither of them will take 240p composite right in. So at least this will allow me to do some minor streaming if I wanted to. Chapter 1-1 with the, I believe it's supposed to be Mario. Now, one thing different on Doki Doki Panic than Super Mario Brothers 2 is the fact that you can't run. This is basically the speed for everything. Let's see if I hold down. Yep, you can still charge your jumps and everything. It's annoying that you can't run. There's another example of music that's different. Oh! Well, that's one of those too where if you could only run, you could get over there. So there's Doki Doki Panic. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to reset and pop that out. And this is actually the other game that I brought back with me from Portland. This is Bio Miracle Butka Upa. I know I'm not saying the Butka or whatever. That's not right. Side B. That's pretty frequent where you will get to, you know, it's almost like side A is just the authentication that you get to play the game, and side B is the game. There are instances, though, where the game will be on side A, and you can actually have a second game on side B. I think I've got one where, like, I've got Super Mario Brothers and Pac-Man. It's just one of the neat things about the Famicom disk system. So basically how I learned about this game, this is something that Riggs had mentioned in a Metal Jesus video talking about hidden gems on the Famicom. But this is, I really enjoy YY World 2. It's one of those, I think Riggs calls it a cute 'em up, and it's a cute game. I really do dig it. But it has, so this character is in there. Who else is in there? You've got Bill from Contra, I think, is in there. You've got just a bunch of, different Konami characters that are in it. And this is a Konami game. And then you can bounce enemies, looks like, off your head to use it to attack other enemies. Ah, there we go. So that's basically, I have to use those to hit him. Oh, and I died. Well, this is probably the best my Sharp Famicom Twin has looked since I've gotten it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change gears and we're going to go to the Super NES. And one of the reasons, this is one of the other reasons really why I wanted the RetroTink, is because the OSSC has tons of problems working with the Super NES. Now, I've got the HD Retrovision component video cables, and going right into my TV looks gorgeous. But if I'm going through my OSSC, a lot of times I'll get frame loss, I'll get audio dropout, I'll just have a lot of issues going on. So what I'm hoping is going through this with the line doubling, it'll still look great, and I won't run into those AV issues that I've had in the past. So let's switch to the Super NES. You had to have known this was coming. Earthworm Jim on the N64. Oh yeah. Now one thing I will say is the blacks look like they've got a little bit of a red hue to it. I don't know if that's just the way I've got my TV set up or what. Looking at, I've got my capture software running actually behind the camera right now, and there it looks okay, so I'm wondering, like I say, if it isn't just the capture software itself or the TV settings itself. One of the best things about the RetroTink 2 is, beyond its simplicity, it's, plug and play, zero input lag. And one of the things we're going to do, like I say, a little bit of Earthworm Jim here, because it's Earthworm Jim, man. This does look really sharp. I'm digging how this looks. I will say I like the way it's looking better through here than even through my OSSC, and mostly that's because of just compatibility issues. I am really happy with how this looks. For me, you know, beyond anything else, just for how good the N64, or I'm sorry, the Super NES looks here, this is worth the price of admission for me. So EWJ definitely looks great, as always. Well, not as always, through, you know, upscaling and everything. You know, not a true upscaler, we're just line doubling, but this looks amazing. Yeah, that guy's always tough. And just like that, he killed us. So Earthworm Jim looks great. Let's throw in some Street Fighter, because that, again, the one thing about this is lag and latency. It removes it and is pretty much a pass-through solution. Let's check out what it can do, though, with the fighting game with Street Fighter. So now we have Super Street Fighter 2 in, but this is actually my Super Famicom now I have hooked up. So it's the standard Super Famicom, not the Super Famicom Junior. So the video isn't quite as sharp as the Juniors, but dang, this is actually really good looking. Let us do game start, and I'm not going to worry about configuring buttons and whatnot. I'll just play as it is. Ryu versus Ryu. Oof, threw me down pretty good there. Oh, I jumped right into that. Oh, he's gonna get me. Dang it. That was completely just a good fight that I lost. Man, I'm getting my butt kicked here. Oh, nice reversal or counter. Oh, oh, dang it. It's a good fight. I need more practice. You know who's really good at this is Gabo from the Pixel Game Squad. But there you could see the language and everything was in Japanese. Street Fighter 2 works good, looks good. Now let's try what is perhaps the hardest system to get a decent picture out of. Let's try the N64. So here we have the N64, and well, you can kind of see some issues. Maybe, I don't know if it's coming through. I can see some issues on my capture device right now. This is no upscaling, no nothing. This is just pass through. This coming up, this is going to be line doubling. And there you can kind of see how much sharper it looks there. I'm going to wait till it gets back to the title screen too, because there is a real significance. So there is normal. There's with the filter applied. You can see the faces, how they kind of clean themselves up there. So we're going to use our Brawler 64. This does look better than just going straight through to my TV. I have not had quite the same issues with the N64 as I have had with the Super NES working through the OSSC as we're going through our inversion here. Ooh, to the inside. Oh, I missed the turbo. There we go. There's our turbo as we go. Ooh, got a little bit squirrely. I missed the boost. Dang it. Up to third though. The draw distance look good. I mean, overall, this looks pretty. I like it. Took home the win. I think in the close-ups of the ship there too, you could kind of see it was pretty decent. Now we're going to do one last test, and we are going to check out. I love the Star Wars games on the N64. We're going to check out Rogue Squadron. So here we have Star Wars Rogue Squadron, one of my favorite games. We're going to just go to the trainee mode real quick. So we're going to go to Mos Eisley, a wretched hive of scum and villainy. Now, one of the things you might be wondering too is why am I focusing on the Nintendo systems versus some of the other systems out there? Well, first of all, for like the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Pound Technologies has an HDMI cable out there. It's simply cheaper and less expensive than the RetroTink, so I don't know that that would be my recommended solution. For the Genesis and for the Master System, quite honestly, I just don't know that there are as many people collecting for them, but you will see very similar improvements to the video quality as what we're seeing here. And I'm not showing the GameCube just because there's things like the Eon Gaming GCHD. There is the Insurrection Industries Carby that you can use. I would, if you're fans of those systems, those would definitely be the way that I would go versus the RetroTink. Now, the nice thing with the RetroTink is you can actually use like an AV switcher and connect more than one system. That's what I do, basically. This is just a great game on so many different levels, and this really does look good. One of the cool things about this game, too, is it actually does use the enhancement of the extra game, or the RAM booster, the RAM pack, to really help make it look as good as this does. This actually looks terrific, I think. Now, I do have the audio turned down in this video simply because Disney LucasArts likes to copyright claim anything with the John Williams fanfares to it. So I just don't want to have the video copyright claimed. I hope you can understand that. But man, I mean, you can at least check out the visuals and see how good this really does look. And then let's go to the cockpit view. And then there's back out of the ship. We're going to close the S foils, and in a moment, now we have opened the S foils into attack position. For the money, this is a great little device, and the thing that I'm looking at it for is the fact that I will honestly now use my Sharp Famicom Twin a lot more than I have since I bought it, simply because I can stream with it if I want to. The picture will look really, really good. I don't have to use one of those crappy cheap upscalers, you know, the little AV to HDMI. Those things are garbage. If you want to check out what I think about those, I've got a video for you right up there that talks all about those right there. One of the things we did forget to show, it works just fine with the Super Game Boy for the Super NES. The RetroTink, it does exactly what I wanted it to do. It's a lot easier to use. The thing with the OSSC, while it has more capabilities, it's a rabbit hole you can get sent down. And there are times where I've gone so far from the stock settings and I've screwed it up. I've had to reset and go back to default and start all over. This simply being a line doubler to get me 480 for the output, it allows me to do everything that I want. It gives me that HDMI output that I'm looking for to, so I can capture if I wanted to. Now, one thing I will say while I'm routing right now through my EasyCap 284, it did not recognize the video output coming out of the RetroTink. I actually had to capture using my Elgato. It was able to capture it, no issues whatsoever. So that is something to be aware of if you are either capturing or streaming, is that your capture device may or may not be compatible with the video output settings depending on how you have them set. Now, if I didn't apply the 2x line multiplier, the signal went through just fine. But if I'm going to do that, why bother with the RetroTink? You know what I mean? But these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Let me know if you have any questions too. We are going to be testing this with more systems as time goes on. May not do videos on it, but something I'm going to try with pretty much everything that I have. This may actually, for me, end up replacing my OSSC just because it just works. Where with my Super NES and my N64, there are some games, the systems just do not look good. I really, really like this device. And in fact, if I would have had this before I bought my OSSC, I probably would not have bought my OSSC. That's how much I like this. If you do have any other comments or questions, in addition to leaving them down in the comments section, as always, feel free to email me at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter at RockSolidStudios, or we've always got the conversation going over on our Facebook page at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions. Now, if you do want to get early access to all of our video content, get access to exclusive content, and help support the channel, you can do so by heading on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/RockSolid. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you can go ahead and get early access to all of our videos. We do have exclusive content just for our Patreon supporters as well. You can even go ahead and suggest video topics for future episodes. You can also go ahead and support the channel by heading on over to our Teespring store, where we have a variety of Rock Solid Productions swag, from the t-shirts that you see here on screen with the N64, the Super NES, and the NES style cartridge with the Rock Solid Productions logos. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, and a whole lot for you guys to check out there. And finally, like I mentioned at the top of this video, if you like what you see here, you want to see more, you want to stay the most up to date, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon. That way, each and every time we do upload a new video, you are kept the most up to date. If you're looking for where you can go and actually purchase a RetroTink, go visit my friend Ryan at CastleManiaGames.com. That's where I got mine through, and you can go ahead with all orders of $20 and up. You do get free shipping and handling in the US and on many items on the website. If you use promo code ROX10, you can actually save 10% on your order. Now, the RetroTink is not included in that promo code, just something to be aware of. If you are going to order this, one thing that I really do highly recommend is that you order the Mini HDMI to HDMI cable right from Ryan. That way you've got everything that you need right there. It's an all-in-one stop purchase. This thing is awesome. It is going to have a permanent home here in my setup. I've just got to figure out how I'm going to get through the spaghetti wires and everything and kind of incorporate it. But I am very high on the RetroTink. My name is Gary. This has been Rock Solid Productions and our look at the RetroTink. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.